Hi girls, Mr. Gilmore here. Just doing kind of a supplemental video. So I've been going through simultaneous equations with you, and some of you have been having a little bit of trouble with it, and that's completely fine. In fact, I much prefer to see people struggling with something, mainly just because part of the magic of teaching is when they actually finally get it, when they have that kind of eureka moment. So yeah, absolutely no judgment in terms of struggling with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through what are the most common mistakes that I see people doing. And I would say, out of all the work I've gotten back, these mistakes are pretty much all of them, to be honest. I haven't seen anything additional on top of these. So let's look at question 7 here. And I've done these few examples that have mistakes in them, okay? These two examples both have mistakes in them. By looking at the mistake, we'll see what we should have done, okay? So this person here, they've decided they're going to take the x's away. Now, I've been showing you taking the y's away. It's completely fine taking the x's away, that's fine. And they've realized, okay, in order to get the same coefficient for both x's, I need to multiply my top line. And they've done that correctly. And then they haven't done the multiplication for the rest of the line. I would say 9, maybe 80% of the mistakes I've seen have just been people not multiplying the entire equation, okay? So you need to multiply every single part. So let's have a quick look at question 7, and let's see what a corrected version of that would look like, okay? So it would be equation 1 multiplied by 2 and equation 2. So in this case, I'm taking away the x's. Most of you will be taking away the y's. If you were taking away the y's, you wouldn't do anything hugely different. All you do is you would just multiply the second row and then subtract them rather than multiply the first row here. Really, all you're aiming for is that you have the same coefficient, the same number in front of your y or x value. So I'm just going to do the same as what this person intended to do. So two x plus, and now we need to multiply. So this person multiplied the first value. You need to multiply every value. So x multiplied by 2 is 2x. 2y multiplied by 2 is 4y. 7 multiplied by 2 is 14. Now for question 2, 2x, y we're going to keep, and 8. Okay, now what do? Well, we subtract the value. And we will end up getting 3y equals 6. So y equals 2. And then we go back. We're going to look, let's say question 2 here, just to make things easier for ourselves. So we've got 2x plus 2 equals 8. 2x equals 6. So x equals 3. Okay, and we can just give that final answer in this format. Okay, now one of the things, girls, I'm going to say is some of you aren't doing kind of finding x afterwards, or after you found y, or finding y after you found x. You have got to find both x and y, otherwise the question isn't finished. And if you're not practicing every part of the question, you're probably not going to remember it when you do it for an exam. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you guys to do is I'm going to go through these two examples. I'm going to explain how we might start question 21. I'm going to ask that all of you attempt lesson 1 again, or the lesson 1 questions, after watching this video. Then go on to lesson 2, do those questions. So watch the video, do the questions. And then I'll give 1 or 2 extra questions just so that everyone gets the same level of practice on this, okay? So, 14 here. We're looking at 14. And here, what did this person do wrong? Well, they actually did the multiplication fine. They were perfectly fine for the multiplication, okay? So yep, they were right to multiply the second row. This person again was dealing with x's. That's perfectly fine. Again, it's not a problem. What our aim is that we're just multiplying these equations so that at the end, sets of variables have the same coefficients. Like so, two sets of coefficients have the same, sorry, two sets of variables. So the x's both have the same coefficients or the y's both have the same coefficients. That's all we're aiming for here, okay? Now, what did this person do wrong? Well, they added them rather than subtracting them. Again, a very common mistake I'm seeing. So if you have the same signs here, so both of these are positive numbers, if you have the same signs, we subtract. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in lesson 2, which is already up. So you end up with, okay, 0 here, and then we're dealing with y minus 6y. Okay, so we're y minus 6y, that's 5y. And then minus 2 take away 18. So minus 2 take away 18, that's minus 20. Okay, if you can't remember, you do need to be able to handle negative integers, dividing those out. Okay, so once we've gotten this, all we do, we divide both sides by minus 5, right? And we end up with y equals 4. Great. Now, what are we going to do next? Well, what we're going to do next is what we're going to do next is we are going to find out x. So we go back to one of these equations. We've got the y. We might as well plug it into the first equation. And we're going to get 2x plus y, which is 4. So plus 4 equals minus 2. So 2x equals minus 6. So we're subtracting 4 from both sides. So x equals minus 3. Fantastic. And now we've got our final answer. And I am going to reject answers that don't have the final answer given to me in this clear format at the end. Okay. Finally, I just wanted to mention question 21 because this is a bit of a step up and a lot of you haven't even attempted it. So I am going to call you out on that. I'm going to say, give it another try. What's going on here? How are we going to solve this? Well, we still need to get the coefficients the same for one of our variables, but it won't really matter if we multiply both equations, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take both equations and we're going to multiply them, okay? So I'm going to try to get the same for the x's. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to try to get the same coefficients for the x's. So I'm going to multiply the top line by 2 and the bottom equation by 3. So 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. So both of them will have 6x. And that's what we're aiming for. But I still need to multiply across the rest of the equation. So 5y is going to be multiplied by 2. It's going to be 10y. 6 multiplied by 2, well, that's 12. Okay. 3y multiplied by 3, that's 9y. 3 multiplied by 5, that's 15. So I think I've given you enough for you guys to get started on that question. So I'm going to say redo lesson 1 if you haven't gotten it correct and upload that for before tomorrow, as well as lesson 2. So I'm actually going to give you guys a little bit of an extension on your work to accommodate the fact that I'm kind of needing to go back and review over it. As always, girls, if you have questions, please feel free to ask me. I don't want to be getting questions of, oh, I don't get it. I want to be getting questions of, oh, this is my attempt. Could you help me find where I'm going wrong? Or that kind of thing. So like if you just say, oh, I don't get it, there's not really much I can do to help you in that regard. But if you can go, this is my attempt, where did I go awry? That's a good way to approach it, okay? Great, thank you, girls. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, okay? Thank you, bye-bye.